But going up the stairs here, I was just reminded at the complexity of universities. The university where I teach in South Africa, Stellenbosch University, has a very complex and broken history. It was part of the school of thought that established apartheid theology and apartheid thinking. In fact, the very faculty where I teach, the Faculty of Theology at Stellenbosch University, was involved, complicit in the establishment of the heresy of apartheid. And the university itself graduated many of the apartheid presidents and thinkers of that era, like D.F. Malan and others. And the question is, how does one deal with that? You know, these historical figures, how do you deal with them in a way which recognizes the complexity of history, but also recognizes the pain of the contemporary world, what people are facing today? For our students in the Faculty of Theology, for example, who are predominantly black South Africans, what does it mean for them to be in a university where there are predominantly white faces on the walls, where the history, the legacy of the Faculty of Theology was that until the 2000s there were only, I think, white male lecturers. I'll have to go and check, but I think that was the case until 1998, somewhere around there. And until the 1980s, I think only male Dutch Reformed students. So if you are a black South African Methodist woman or a person from a faith other than Christianity, how do you deal with that? Now, this is very interesting. Here in the main hall, they have portraits of all of the Nobel laureates, all of the persons who won Nobel Prizes. And the very first one that's on here is a picture which is missing. And this is the picture of Adolf Butenandt, professor of chemistry who won a Nobel Prize in 1939. But his portrait was captured from this gallery by a group called Wissen in Widerstand, Knowledge in Resistance. And this group removed his portrait because he was a member of the Nazi Party and was involved in racist research. And so what the university has done here is they've left the portrait vacant, but they cannot deny that this person existed. It shows the complexity of it, and so they've told the story. As I was going through here, I was struck by the fact that, of course, you know, these are almost entirely men. In fact, all of the people who have these Nobel Prizes here are men. There are a few of them that you might recognize as very famous, former students or lecturers at the Humboldt-Universität of Berlin, Albert Einstein, Max Planck, the physicist, and on this side, Werner Heisenberg, Erwin Schrödinger's cat, for those who study quantum physics, Werner Heisenberg. So all of these here are men. Now I just want to grab my bag here. It's never good to leave a bag in a public space. And as I was thinking about the complexity of this, it struck me that very often universities exemplify the sort of social mores of the time in which they live. And certainly a university like this, coming from the 17 and 1800s, expressed the cultural and social mores of the time. Predominantly male faculty and male students, as was common. But this was so encouraging to me. Down this passage here, they have the stories of a number of notable women. Agnes von Zahn-Harnack, 6 October 1908, was the first woman to be registered formally as a student. There were visiting women students before that. And as one goes down the list here, there are a number of people who either were expelled and executed for resistance against National Socialism, the rise of the Nazi Party, women such as Lisa Meitner, who got her PhD and her habilitation, her second PhD, but because she is of Jewish descent, she was not allowed to take up a university position. And it goes all along here. And this was very, very deeply moving to me to see this. And I thought how important it was for universities to contain these stories and spaces. this was a particularly moving story, the story of Hedwig Hinze, who was awarded her PhD at the University of Berlin in 1924 and her habilitation in 1928. She worked as a privat docent, so she wasn't a professor, she was a senior lecturer in history, and she lost her teaching credentials in 1933 because of her Jewish origins. And so she emigrated to the Netherlands, was appointed as an associate professor of history at the New School in New York, but because of the Nazi occupation of the Netherlands, she could never take up that post. So just struck again today by how complicated universities are. They tend to lead in some ways, be lead indicators to show society where it should go through their research, but in other instances we tend to be lag indicators. We tend to use, I've got Karl Marx on the brain to use economic language. We tend to be lag indicators in the sense in that we represent the values of our societies. So at Stellenbosch we are busy struggling with this very issue of visual redress and public semiotics. How do we present the history of our institution without denying it, without washing it over, without reconstructing history in a way that is not true? But how do we do it in a way also that allows our students and our faculty and visitors to feel that it's a space in which they can operate freely and belong, and in which their dignity and their rights are not accosted? So I'd love to hear your thoughts on issues like this. Maybe you have stories from your own university or your town, your city, your church, your community in which there is some need for visual redress. And if you have any ideas of how we could do this for ourselves at Stellenbosch University, please let me know. So thanks as always for watching the videos. You can be in touch with me by leaving a comment here on YouTube or on Facebook, or you can follow me at Digital Dion on Twitter or Instagram, or on my website dionforster.com. And please share the video if you find it useful. That you don't have to agree with me. In fact, a conversation and disagreement is often quite helpful. But thanks for watching the video, and I hope you'll stick around on the channel. So today was my first day in the office at the Humboldt-University. Got my little office space set up, and my library activation and office card. How's that? Beautiful church right here at the Spree. The Faculty of Theology is just over there, and I'm walking to Alexanderplatz to go and grab a coffee, enjoying my apple. And it is freezing this afternoon, much colder than it was yesterday or this morning. Yeah, there's a cold setting in, which is, I think that's going to be exciting for Migi and Courtney and Liam when they get here on the 22nd of December. Yeah, beautiful. Maybe we'll even see some snow. Who knows?